Rye Community College is a comprehensive school in East Sussex. They've been using one-to-one tuition to help raise standards in both English and maths over the last 3 years. A lot can be learned from their success in getting the most out of their one-to-one tuition sessions.
A central part of my role is to work with a range of schools, primary and secondary, helping them and supporting them to deliver one-to-one tuition to pupils in key stages 2 and 3. Rye Community College have been committed to one-to-one tuition for nearly 3 years now because they have found that it has such an impact on helping pupils to achieve their potential.
To get the most out of their one-to-one sessions, Rye College concentrated on 3 areas: the planning of the sessions, the tuition sessions themselves, and the review of the sessions once completed. Rye Community College have 2 one-to-one tutors, one for English and one for maths. The 1-hour sessions take place in quiet areas of the library throughout the day. They have found that the selection of students and the target setting play a large role in how successful the sessions are.
What I really like about the way Rye Community College look at tuition and select pupils is that the English and Maths subject leaders work collaboratively so that attainment for pupils is evened up between Maths and English. For example, say a pupil is achieving really well in English but not so well in Maths, then the English and Maths subject leaders will look at that child and perhaps recommend a round of tuition for that child in mathematics so that the child can feel equally confident in their maths learning as they do in their English learning.
Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get the stories out of the work that you've already done. Can you just find that, please?
To select the students, we use the assessments that the English and Maths staff collect termly, and this indicates for students, for us, the students that need the extra help.
You were trying to push yourself to walk, so do you mean like you were walking reluctantly, sort of reluctant? Have you heard that one? No. Reluctant.
One-to-one tuition is just that, really. It's about personalising a pupil's learning. It's about focusing on that individual so that we know exactly what we have to do in terms of their learning to help them to make progress. With the pupil, we can work out what the next steps are. So when we select pupils for tuition, it's really important to look at the data. Are they at risk of not making 2 levels of progress and not meeting national expectations? If so, they're a prime candidate for one-to-one tuition.
Once students have been selected, targets for the sessions need to be set.
Using the APP assessment material, teachers are able to make very specific curricular targets to identify exactly what the students need to do to move up a level or a sub-level. And so the teachers are encouraged to create those curricular targets, which are then communicated to the tutor, and it then becomes a real focus for the tutor and the student during the 10 weeks in which they progress through their studies.
I work from targets that Miss Pearson, the head of English, gives me. Each child will have their own set of targets from the APP guidelines. Most of them come to me for writing support and fewer come for reading support. And I will implement my own strategies, if you like, to help them, achieve those targets.
Is there anything in Nathan's that you think could be improved, anything that you might be able to suggest to him?
Some full stops.
Some full stops?
Tutor helps me when I go back to class because some of the work's related to what we're doing in class as well, so I understand some of it. Because usually I have the maths lesson first and then I have it afterwards as well sometimes, so it helps me even more because I have 2 maths teachers. So it helps me more because it's related to both of the stuff we're doing in there. So it's really easy now.
So the boy
Who has
blonde hair, yeah, well done, yeah. Or the boy with...
Jordan particularly was very quiet and perhaps unassuming. It was his data that really was evidence to show that he wasn't making the progress that he should have done. And he's now become a much more featured student in the classroom. His responses are much more prominent, and he seems more confident to have conversations with other students about his work and theirs.
What was it that you really liked about Dean's story?
I really liked how he describes
all the like people and how where plays like One Gloomy Night and then Jim and that, and how he actually writes Doom.
Once students have been selected and targets set for them, how does Rye make sure they get the most out of their one-to-one sessions?
What makes a great tutoring session for me, first and foremost, I think, is that the whole session is pitched around what the young person wants to do.
I think it's really important to have a really good relationship with the child, a really relaxed relationship right from the beginning, and then when they're at ease, then I think they do their best work, so I think that's probably the most important factor.
If we were writing our story, if we came up with a simple sentence...
The relationship between myself as a tutor and the young people is crucial, it's fundamental to everything that we do. And, you know, the more they trust me, the better chance I've got of them learning something and making progress.
Now then, that was happy. And then that's it, leave a bit of a gap. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I start by finding out what they're interested in and then bring the sort of the targets and the aims and objectives into that and work through that.
On sentence types. What were the hands doing, though? Say what the hands were actually doing. They were covering... What were they covering?
Like covering your mouth, which was open.
Excellent. Excellent.
Best thing about my tutoring sessions is Sarah has so much fun with us, so we'll basically learn through like play and drama, because I like drama.
I think it was shock.
Yeah.
Or horror.
I start with something that I know they can do. Again, it's like choose a topic that they're interested in, start from where they are, and then, you know, step by step by step, you just extend what you're doing so that they're working with you and going with you. And I try to make it so that at the end of every session they've achieved something and they can recap and say, yes, I managed to do this today. So it's building their confidence because they can see that they're achieving something.
Do you remember what we did it over here with however when we added our connective? We used commas. Fantastic.
What have you identified so far for Dean to improve?
How he can actually describe where the place is, because he just says One Gloomy Night, which you don't know if he's in a place or anything. I like my tuitions, like, helping me to be more confident, like speaking stuff.
Excellent. Have you written that down yet? Yeah. Jordan didn't always feel very confident to make any contributions in the classroom, and now he feels much more confident and able to have those conversations with myself and other students.
I would start off by some work on the whiteboard, going over what we've done in the previous session, and then perhaps use a computer program to reinforce what we've done, and then some written work based on the computer program, and then end up with a game, either a board game or a card game.
8 times 10.
10's 80.
The best thing about the tutor sessions are that it's easier because I've only got me and Sir, and we have a lot of fun games afterwards, but in maths as well, like maths games, and we do some on the computer, like there's a website called My Maths, and we do some of that like shapes and add-ins. We do that, and in lessons we don't really do that, we usually copy from a book.
I make it fun. I'm sure that's where the role plays come into it. And I think that eliminates fear from a lot of the young people. Fear can be like a sort of mental straitjacket. It stops you thinking, you know, and how can you learn when you're sitting and thinking, oh my God, you know, I don't want to answer that question. That's what's going through your head, rather than, hey, I'm relaxed, this is okay, Sarah's okay, she's not going to, you know, tell me off. And then learning is a byproduct of that, you know.
A successful tuition session for me would be one in which a student can really be involved, that they can become involved in lively and engaging talk, that they can have something demonstrated to them in a different and more appropriate way for them, something that really engages them and allows them to focus on their learning styles, to share their work as well with their own teachers. And that's something that we really encourage, and quite often the tutors will email me work or invite me down to come and show me something, so that the students can be proud of what they've achieved and gain some recognition from within the school.
Now, we know that these work together. That's one sentence. That's a simple sentence. This could be another one.
Comma.
A comma to pause it. Well done.
A lot of the students struggle with confidence in maths, and so to help that, I break the task up into small chunks so they get a quick reward and praise for what they have achieved before they move on to the next bit. So that's brilliant. So you know about the connection between multiply and division, and you can find missing numbers in addition sums.
Throughout the tuition sessions, and once completed, Rye continued to monitor the progress that the students are making in order to adjust or set new targets.
Throughout the tuition sessions, as the student makes progress, I liaise with the head of department and he feeds back to the class teachers to make new targets if required.
At the end of the 10 sessions, I sort of summarise everything, look at the progress that's been made, and can actually recommend, further support perhaps that young person might need, because obviously you won't achieve everything in 10 weeks, but I have to sort of summarise what I've done with each one.
It's really important that in education we look at how pupils are doing, that we track and monitor pupil progress from the minute they enter school until the time they leave and beyond, so that pupils don't become disaffected with education or feel like they're failing in their learning, but rather their learning needs are addressed so they can continue to enjoy learning and to achieve.
Since I've been doing the tutoring sessions, it's a lot more easier now, because I can do the work without calling Miss all the time, and it's easier because sometimes I finish while she's still going around, and then she tells me to help other people who are sitting near me.
Yes, Katrina?
Miss, on this I've highlighted it to know where I am.
That's fine.
But on this, what does that one mean?
This is what we were talking about in terms of the narrative voice. So is it...
I think one of the main differences that has taken place for the students that have had tutoring is the confidence. And they're speaking much more confidently now, using a more developed vocabulary. They're more confident to ask questions, and they seem much more happy to tackle situations and questions than they were before.
What I really like about the tutor sessions is when I come, Sarah teaches me new words that I can put in my writing and to make it better, so I don't have to ask my friends how to spell things and what would be a better word. And then Sarah teaches me how to do it myself.
It is really, really motivating when you go into schools and talk to pupils, but even more so when you go and observe pupils who've had one-to-one tuition in classrooms, because you can pick them out. They just feel so much better about their learning and about being in classrooms and school. And so you know that you're doing something really worthwhile.
I've been doing better in my English and making more progress and getting higher grades and stuff, so my teacher's happy with it, so am I.